every NFL star that you know is now on a completely different team. Because today I will be resetting the entire NFL with a fantasy draft, with the goal of taking one of the worst teams in the NFL to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. If I can't win the Super Bowl, I'll have to go into Ultimate Team and quick sell a card of my highest overall player. So it's in my best interest to take this draft pretty serious. Okay, we have pick 17, and Jalen Ramsey just went in front of us. We can get Aaron Donald, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce, even though he's kind of washed now. With what Christian McCaffrey is doing in the league, I don't think you can pass on him. CMC is back in Carolina. Our next pick is round 2, pick 16. Ayuk goes in front of us. Dude, Travis Kelce's still on the board. Dude, I was calling Travis Kelce washed, but he's still on the board. Oh, but dude, the quarterbacks are kind of miserable now. There are no good quarterbacks. And since I have to win a Super Bowl this year, I can't choose one of the younger guys like Jordan Love or Justin Fields or even Anthony Richardson because they're going to have to develop. And I don't have time for Bryce Young to develop. So yeah, I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. Draft analyst had I reached, but you draft analyst. Now we're back to round 3, pick 17, where I would continue to bolster my offense. Dude, I mean, I'm just taking all offense at this point, and I think I kind of have to. 99 overall Zach Martin. If a 99 overall is still on the board in round 3, you kind of have to take him. And round 4 would be where I take my first defensive player. Yeah, as a Saints fan, I think I'm going to have to take Demario Davis. I mean, it says I'm reaching, but like, that's not even a reach. I reached by 2 spots. In round 5 was where I'd finally take our quarterback. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Kirk Cousins, 84 overall. He's only normal dev, but Kirk Cousins was balling out in real life this past season until he got hurt. So I trust that Kirk is going to be that guy for us this year. And to make things fair, I'd let the CPU pick the rest of our team. Okay, so this is the rest of the team that the CPU drafted me. And honestly, our offense is insane. We, of course, selected Christian McCaffrey with our first pick. We have Kirk Cousins throwing to OBJ, JSN, and Travis Kelce. I'm not going to lie, dude. That is a nasty core of weapons for Kirk. And of course, defense is definitely going to be our weaker side because all of our first picks were just offense. But our defense actually isn't as bad as I thought. But nonetheless, they would get tested right away. All right, well, season opener. And our defense is going to have to face Joe Burrow right away. Okay, well, the Falcons are going to score right away. And we respond with 7, so that's good to see. Our offense needs to be a juggernaut. Our offense needs to be the reason we win games because obviously our defense is not going to help us win games. Because it means 21-21 right now. Dude, our offense is going to have to score 30 points a game, which they would pretty much do. No defense, no problem, baby. 31-28. And we were greeted with a pleasant surprise. Okay, well, McCaffrey is already a 99 overall after 1 week. That was pretty easy. But week 2 would be where our offense would get tested. Okay, the Saints are 1-0, and they have a 98 overall Myles Garrett. That kind of sucks to see. With our star-studded offense taking on a solid Saints defense, it was safe to say that our offense would pass their first test of the season, absolutely dismantling a juggernaut defense. 28-10, we destroy the Saints, and we are already 2-0. Kirk had an insane game, dude, and I mean, Russell Wilson kind of did Russell Wilson things. And after that game, our rookie wide receiver would get an upgrade, but his overall wouldn't even be close to the other stars around the league. Okay, so Justin Jefferson's on the Bills, Micah's on the Bears, Mahomes is on the Cardinals, Tyreek is on the Rams, Aaron Donald Jets. Dude, this is so crazy to look at. Lamar's on the Packers, and TJ Watt on the Seahawks is so weird, which was a bit ironic because this week, okay, well, we're facing up against the Seattle Seahawks, and there is TJ Watt. But with Gardner Minshew quarterbacking the Seattle Seahawks, my defense would definitely underestimate him in Seattle's offense. But regardless, we'd squeak away with a 17-14 victory. Okay, we barely sneak by the Seattle Seahawks, but Kirk would have an opportunity to bounce back and have one of his best games of the season. Okay, a little Kirk Cousins redemption game. I mean, it's going to be hard with Jalen Ramsey on the other side of the ball. But no, it would not be challenging for Kirk at all. As even in poor weather conditions, he would dominate the Vikings, putting up a season-high 38 points on his former team in a 38-14 victory. Kirk Cousins definitely had this game circled on his calendar. There's no other way to say it. Or, well, you could say CMC had it circled down. Okay, well, this was a CMC legacy game. 3 touchdowns, 110 yards on the ground. This is why we drafted CMC in the first round. And despite next week surely looking like a layup against the winless Detroit Lions, we would unfortunately suffer our first defeat of the season. 16-19 against the Detroit Lions. We give the Detroit Lions their first victory of the season. And after that reality check, we would take this next game even more serious. Another road game against the Miami Dolphins. And even with the Dolphins having Mac Jones at quarterback, this would by far be the most entertaining game of the season, with each team going back and forth, racking up so many points. Thankfully for us, the Dolphins wouldn't score as many points as the Panthers. 27-24, we squeak by Mac Jones-led Dolphins. And that would be a good win to catapult us to arguably game of the year. The Texans are 5-1 as well. They have Quinn Williams. They have Josh Allen, Keenan Allen, Cameron Hayward. Okay, the Jonathan Taylor. Okay, dude, I can see why this team is 5-1. And a game that would seem to have a fireworks show with two explosive offenses. Fireworks would definitely be lit, but for the most part, it would be us lighting the fireworks until the Texans would battle back and make it a game at the end, but it just wouldn't be enough. 31-24, we beat the 5-1 Houston Texans, and now we improve to 6-1. And this would be Kirk Cousins' best game by far. 261 with 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, dude. Josh Allen wouldn't have terrible numbers, but I mean, he wouldn't have Kirk Cousins numbers. And after the Texans, we'd stay in the AFC South, facing off against the Indianapolis Colts. Although they'd have a tremendous defense with Fred Warner and Minkah Fitzpatrick, it wouldn't be enough to stop Christian McCaffrey and Kirk Cousins. We dismantle an amazing Indianapolis Colts defense. Minkah doesn't even want to shake hands. And with it being midway through the season, it was time to check on how the rest of the league was doing. Okay, well, we are 7-1. The Texans are 6-2, who we beat. The Rams are 7-2. Cardinals 7-2. Okay, there are a lot of good teams, actually. There are 5 teams with 2 losses or less. And obviously, the 3 loss teams aren't bad either. And yeah, the Colts are the worst team in the league, who we just beat. And our next opponent, the Chicago Bears, wouldn't be that far from them. Okay, well, the worst record in the league is 2-7. And the Bears are 3-6, so they aren't that far off. And even with the Bears sticking with Justin Fields in this timeline, that looked like that would be the correct answer, as we'd have no answer for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, losing our second game of the season. 24-17. Oh my God, did we keep losing to terrible teams? After that, we'd face a pretty solid Cowboys team. And even with Justin Herbert coming off a legacy game, the Panthers would look to get back on track with a W. And they would do just that. And a very balanced game where the Panthers will come out on top by a game-winning field goal. Okay, we're back in the win column. That's good to see. Good work, Travis Kelce. Week 12 would face another bottom-of-the-barrel team. But as you know, that has been our weakness this entire season until now, as we finally corrected our past mistakes when it comes to these terrible teams. And we were finally able to beat a low-tier team. 20-14. It wasn't pretty, but we squeaked out the W, and that's all that matters. And there was a reason why I'd be so close. Dude, Kirk Cousins' completion percentage was 46. That is terrible, Kirk. And what's more, the following week would be against another terrible team, another divisional opponent. But like I've said before, divisional opponents are always tough. And with the Buccaneers having Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith, they were still capable of putting up points. And of course, they'd put up points, but it wouldn't be that many. Okay, we win in dominant fashion. And once more, it would be our MVP winning us this game. CMC with 136 yards and a touchdown. Dude, I mean, just nobody comes close to him. CMC is him. And the following week, we'd be facing off against another divisional opponent, where this would be an absolute nail biter the entire way until Kirk Cousins would find Jackson Smith and Jigba for a game-winning touchdown. Kirk go to JSN for the win. And that would be that. 27-20, we squeaked by with another victory. And we clinched the NFC South the following week in dominant fashion. 35-21 over the Falcons. NFC South is ours. And after clinching the playoffs, I'd sim the next 3 games, where we defeat the Packers 30-28 in a thriller. We'd fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to wrap things up, we'd fall 30-20 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the season finale. Okay, well, we finished 3rd in the NFL behind the Broncos and the Rams. Okay, well, before the playoffs, in case you forgot, here's how the squad is looking. Jackson Smith and Jigba is already a superstar at an 88 overall. Morale is high, man. Kirk Cousins has +7 morale. DeMario is up to a 96 overall. I mean, just the defense is solid. There's just no superstar X factors. And once again, we'd be facing a familiar opponent. Okay, well, we already played the Seattle Seahawks this year, so I guess we got to play them once more. Okay, so they have TJ Watt, Budda Baker, Terry McLaurin, Trent Brown. Dude, this team actually isn't that good. Yep, Gardner Minshew is their quarterback, so we can't take them lightly, because that's what we did last time. And with the primetime playoff game in Carolina, for the first time in forever, it was Kirk Cousins versus Gardner Minshew. All right, it's 14-7 to start it off. Please, offense, please continue to score points because our defense is not the greatest. 21-16. Okay, offense, please don't stall out. It's 21-19. Please don't stall out. 29-26. Yes, please. Kirk, 32-26. And just like that, we were in victory formation. 32-26. we move on. But this upcoming week would be a different task. Okay, so we go from Gardner Minshew to Lamar Jackson. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. So 99 overall Lamar Jackson, 91 Joey Bosa, Rashawn Gary, Tony Pollard. Yeah, this team isn't that bad at all. And all eyes would be on the quarterback play in this game with Lamar versus Kirk Cousins. And this game would totally depict a Lamar Jackson versus Kirk Cousins playoff game. As it'd go back and forth in an absolute shootout, but in the end, Kirk would be coming out on top. We somehow get by Lamar Jackson and the Green Bay Packers. I don't know how. And just like that, we were one game away from the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons at 12-5 make the NFC Championship. It's gonna be hard to beat Joey B 3 times. Yeah, especially with this roster, man. My God, this roster is actually insane. Josh Jacobs is a 98, Joe Burrow 97, Tyrann Mathieu 93. Yeah, this team's kind of cracked. And with one win away from the Super Bowl and pouring in nasty conditions, it was obvious that we were in for a dogfight. And as I expected we'd get a dogfight, well, that's exactly what we would get. As both teams would struggle to put up points in the terrible weather conditions, it would end up being Kirk Cousins that would put the Panthers over top Joe Burrow and the Atlanta Falcons. We were officially headed to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. This was a scary matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. I was not expecting to win this one, if I'm going to be honest. But I would have little to complain about because we were officially Super Bowl bound. The Chargers make the playoffs out of the AFC and they finished 10-7. George Kittle's their best player at a 98 overall. They also have Jamar Chase at a 97. They have Micah Hyde, Matthew Judon. Their quarterback is Anthony Richardson. So this team would be really good if it was years, but thankfully it's just 1 year and Anthony Richardson's only a 79 overall. But just like that, we have taken the worst team in the NFL and have brought them to the Super Bowl with just 1 win away from being Super Bowl champions for the first time. Oh, dude, I am nervous for this one. This is going to be a good game despite the record difference. With AR-15 hyping up his team and Kirk hyping up our team, it was time we finally got started. Okay, it's going to be 14-7, just like that, 14-14. A lot of points are being scored, actually, so that's a good sign if you're a fan of the game. But if you're a Panthers fan, you do not want to see the Chargers score that many points. Please score a touchdown, 24-14, 31-14. And that would do it. 34-28. We are Super Bowl champions. Kirk Cousins could not believe it. The Panthers, for the first time in franchise history, are Super Bowl champions. CMC finally gets his first Super Bowl. Oh, he deserves it. Nothing but respect between AR-15 and Kirk Cousins. Kirk is now on top of the world. They're officially Super Bowl champions. Kirk Cousins actually finished second in MVP voting, which is crazy. But we did win Coach of the Year with Frank Reich. Okay. So literally the complete opposite happened compared to real life. But this is what would happen if you completely reset the NFL and had a fantasy draft. I mean, Jackson Smith-Njigba is a 92 overall superstar X Factor. This was just in year 1. If we continued this rebuild and had years to come, this man would have been a monster. That's going to conclude this video. If you want to see a video similar to this, I did a challenge where for every win, I would steal one player from the other team. So check it out right here. Just click right here. You don't want to miss it.